We.
Over the past few months, my boyfriend and I have been doing long distance. Like, a really long distance. Thankfully, he flew over to spend winter break together, and although 3 months isn't long, it really feels like forever. We spent 2 days wandering around Bath, and I finally got to be a tourist in my own town. Then, we headed to Paris. We made it! Our first day in Paris was a really bright and sunny one. Being massive tourists, we headed to the Eiffel Tower for our first stop. Pickpocket Central. Very stressful. We spent a long time, probably more time than necessary, enjoying the view and each other's company. Peace out. Goodbye, Eiffel Tower. This is the reality of traveling. For lunch, we ate at our first of many French cafes. Although slightly touristy, the food was not bad and we had the classics: French onion soup, escargot, and foie gras. After lunch, we took the metro to the Pompidou Museum. This building is one of my all-time favorites, and I think studying architecture and learning about the theories behind the functionality of the museum only made me enjoy the visit more. Okay, architecture fun fact. Because the building infrastructure is located on its external face, the interior is actually a wide column-free space that is adaptable to the needs of the user. Like, this is truly a gift of modern architecture. You want hand sanitizer? The museum inside also had the most insane collection of modern art, with the OGs Rothko and Le Corbusier. Very 20th century architecture. Very Le Corbusier. Although sometimes modern art is pretty hard to understand. For dinner, we headed up... Okay, I'm not even gonna try and pronounce it. Just say that we're snail and foie gras addicts.
I think Paris is a bit overhyped.
Why?
It's not very magical.
What? But we're here together! On our second day, we tried our hand at taking the bus to the Pantheon, which is a chef's kiss neoclassical icon with a sick dome. Say it in the Singaporean way?
Pantheon.
The architecture of this building is really spectacular, but my favourite thing is how the tension between the state and the church and its changing owners is reflected in the structure itself. For lunch, we were craving some Asian food and had Ippudo ramen, which honestly just hits different after months without good Japanese food. We took a walk to visit the little shops along the riverside. Before heading to... It's my favourite museum, but I just can't pronounce it. Get the Paris Museum Pass. Skip the queue! This museum is housed in an old train station, and it embodies the most vital principle of sustainable architecture. It's better to repurpose a structure than to tear it down. It's home to one of the widest collections of Impressionist paintings, ranging from Renoir to Manet to Monet. And of course, Vincent van Gogh. I also really enjoyed the sculptures on display, such as Pompon's White Bear, Camille Claudel's Age of Maturity, and the various Ugolinos. In these kinds of massive museums, I think it's really important to get an audio guide to make the most of the visit, and I actually really enjoyed this one. Every night, French food.
Carbonate.
What?
I think it's nice.
It has been a very stressful morning trying to book a PCR to go back, and even then, we might not even have one. Our day started bright and early at the iconic Louvre Museum. Review of Paul in Paris.
Not that great, honestly. Especially yours.
I know.
Yeah, mine.
Yeah, yours first.
Here's mine. Then I take yours.
We started in the Greek antiquities wing, visiting the Diana of Versailles, the sleeping Hermaphroditus, and of course, the Venus de Milo. Hey girl, where those arms be at? What those arms be doing?
I suppose. Oh no, that's over with. You know, Bob, Nora's the prettiest girl I've ever known.
In the Egyptian wing, we saw the largest sphinx located outside of Egypt, which honestly begs the question, why is it not in Egypt? I think while I appreciate being able to see many of these artifacts, the ethics of seeing another country's objects while I'm not there are actually pretty sketchy to me. The Sun, Gold and Diamonds Hall was really grand with an ornate ceiling housing the crown jewels of France. Where are we going next? We then dropped by the Renaissance wing to see the bestie, Mona Lisa. The queue for her. In the whole museum, I love the open space of the Richelieu wing the most.
You eat cake before the food.
We're hungry.
After you will not be hungry anymore.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
After lunch, we headed to our next museum. My favourite thing about Monet's water lilies is the room that was specifically designed to house them. The artwork is strategically placed to reflect the filtered daylight that floods the space, gradually changing colours with the time of day. We then made a quick visit to the Christmas market. We had dinner at the Art Deco restaurant La Coupeau. I'm so full and we haven't even started the mains. I'm living the life of a glutton. My glutton and crime. It was kind of disappointing and a massive tourist trap in our opinion. Okay, let's go. Thankfully, we had another bright and sunny day in Paris. We had some sick French pastries for breakfast. Then we did the second most touristy thing and visited the Arc de Triomphe. After finally reaching the top, the view was not bad, but I would say with all the spikes,
Not the best for photography.
and not a must visit. We then had lunch at the 1 Michelin star Clover Grill. That was our best meal in Paris.
Yeah, it definitely was.
We just took our PCR to go back to the UK and I'm crying. She literally just went boom. This pharmacy, man. To reward ourselves, we bought some fancy macarons and went to watch the sunset.
My hair is so cold, right? I might actually let go of this and drop
Don't drop it.
Close your eyes. How do you know I was there? You peeping Tom.
Is it hazelnut foie gras?
Feeding time.
Close your eyes. You see already?
Yeah, sorry.
Oh my God. Okay, close your eyes, close your eyes.
Babe, you shouldn't even give me that. That is so obvious.
Babe, close your eyes. Open up.
It's caramel, something caramel.
I don't know what it is.
Let me see the colour.
After the sunset, we were freezing and took shelter in the iconic Shakespeare & Co. bookstore. We are so cold.
It's freaking cold, man. These gloves are useless.
We are freezing. He needs to
It's
pee.
amazing.
He needs to pee again.
No, I don't.
And after dinner, we had a nice nighttime walk to enjoy our second last night in Paris. And I actually saw Remy from Ratatouille, which was nice. We made it.
We made it.
In the dark now. We are going for breakfast. Then we headed to the Palace of Versailles. What happened?
Two men tried to steal my phone, but this person found out.
So what's the moral of the story?
Always the phone on the screen.
No, the moral of the story is that I'm always right. We made it after the most expensive train ride ever.
Yes.
Annoyed, but it's fine. As much as the palace was super extravagant and ornate, and it was really fun to explore, I'm not the biggest fan of architecture that people just throw money at. We finished our visit with a nice walk around the gardens where we eventually got lost and we were left freezing. Do you think they'll do this to the Kardashians in the future?
Okay.
There's Kim, there's Chloe,
That's ridiculous.
there's Courtney, there's Chris.
Then you try.
Last meal in Paris.
Oh, is it?
It's killer.
It's over. It's over. It's over.
Oh my gosh.
It's over.
It's crazy. Have a bite, have a bite. We couldn't leave Paris without buying a bunch of French pastries to take home. And then we headed to the train station. Overall, as much as Paris is slightly overhyped online, it is still home to some of the best art museums I've ever visited, and we had such a good time in the city.
Bye, Paris.